and welcome to another episode of Conversations Over Coffee, coming to you from Green Grid TV. Today, we're shining the spotlight on one of the most important ideas of our time, although not often spoken about, which is the circular economy. And the organization leading its charge here in Nigeria, that is the Secular Business Platform, from supporting eco-friendly startups to shaping policy and empowering communities. The Secular Business Platform has time and again been redefining how we think about waste, businesses, and sustainability. My delectable guest will take you through this conversation, unpacking how secular thinking can actually turn environmental challenges into economic opportunities and how you, our viewers, can be a part of it. Let's delve right into it.
So Circular Business Platform is an independent organization governed by private sector organizations that are interested in building the market for the circular economy. It started in Lagos primarily, but its focus is broadening across Nigeria. And it started actually as a result of work carried out with the Consulate General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Lagos and the Dutch Enterprise Agency, where they had supported a feasibility study to engage with stakeholders about how to really support the market. And the idea was of building a platform to bring organizations together to build the ecosystem. So in that feasibility study, the market participants, so private sector organizations, were really responsive to the idea, although at that stage everyone had their own idea about what the value would be of the circular business platform. Irrespective, the Netherlands has really been supporting the establishment of that platform, and the organizations who serve as our board members, who represent the private sector, have also been really working to support the mission of the platform, that is to bring these organizations together to really build the market and those business opportunities.
Okay.
Well, I think a lot of conversations around policy, and in a lot of instances, I think the challenge really is not sometimes in policy, but in the implementation of those policies. I think it would be good to see EPRs. We're starting to see them emerge in certain contexts. But I think really focusing on the infrastructure to implement the required implementation. Recently, I think yesterday I was reading from Lagos State Government, their got a conversation, I think off the back of an MOU they signed with UNIDO yesterday, and they were, talking about EPRs and setting up a fund that would put some kind of responsibility on producers to contribute, as well as the states. Because the reality of it is the circular economy hasn't worked anywhere else. It's impossible for circular economy to work without the intentionality from the public sector. It is so important to create that market, to incentivize people, to green procurement, issues around that. So for me, I think that the implementation of EPRs would be something that would be nice to see. This is like our fourth or fifth state that we're visiting thereabout, and what we continually see is opportunities, but so much more can happen with the right public sector incentive. Yeah.
I would say that we're not where we used to be 10 years ago.
Okay.
There's a lot of conversations around policies, because one, it starts with putting the right set of policies in place. And I would say that over the years, there's been some tremendous growth in terms of policy conversations and setting up ecosystems that could help put heads together to achieve some of the policies that are required to build a circular economy. And of course, in terms of the opportunities that you asked, opportunities in terms of the fact that we have over 200 million people, and of course we have them in different places, maybe more in some certain places like Lagos. The more the waste, of course, the more the opportunity of a circular economy. And definitely, when you look at the gaps, when you're asking about gaps that we've seen, we are talking about funding as a problem that some of these businesses have, because we've had to engage with many of the businesses, And of course, it always comes up, but more in the waste management ecosystem. Funding is a big thing that we need to find people, we need to find partnerships that would help stimulate those kind of investments that we need to build the circular economy.
Wow. How do you, Nigeria is the giant of Africa, we say, and I think we can always lead the conversation and lead every other person, the rest of the 53 countries to where we want them to be in the issue of circularity. I think today when we went round, what was particular for me is seeing that women were quite at the forefront of the issue of circularity. And there's nothing more to say that we already have people who can drive that conversation. When you educate a woman or when you have women really engage in things like this, that definitely the entire community is behind. So I think for me it's just to continue on the path that we are in. The conversation already has been that we have good paperwork, but implementation remains to be a challenge. So it's about private sector engagement, philanthropists. Everybody's hands has to be on deck, and I think that Nigeria has the potentials to lead the rest of the continent.
Yeah.
I think my colleagues have been going around and they can see how welcoming that the government, particularly, are quite interested in this. I mean, waste is really a headache for every person, that is in position of power to ensure that how do we transform this to something more useful, to our community. So it's really been interesting, at least receptive enough. So it's good to know that the government is thinking in that direction, but just having the partner to walk them through that process is something that the engagement will continue in that direction.
Thank you so much. I don't know about you, but that was a thought-provoking conversation. Imagining a greener Nigeria will start with one policy, one business, and one community at a time. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a policymaker, a student, or just a regular citizen, there is a role for everyone to play in the circular economy. That's about it on today's episode of Conversations Over Coffee. Be sure to leave your comments in the comment section. I'm Tonya Gubanjo. See you next time.